Well, Emily, you don't quite have the issue that Sean does of just having a few extra of those pounds.
Yeah.
If Emily were not to eat, she'd fly out of the seat of the M Roadster because
float.
Yeah,
gravity'd get her.
Yeah, it'll get her. Guava Sao Paulo.
Shout out Paolo.
I was just gonna say, should serve him one of these when he comes around.
I should.
Wonder if he drinks that. I'm sure they listen to the Daily Motor podcast.
They totally do.
Do they have their own podcast?
No, but they should.
I feel like if those two were just willing to move out here, we could all just combine it to like a mega channel.
Yeah, we could.
Do really well.
Daily Motor top tip. Matt and Paulo moved to Michigan.
Yeah, if you work for Downshift YouTube channel, don't. Work for Daily Motor instead. Move your families.
What do you think of that?
It's pretty good. It's got a nice light taste. Almost flour-like.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes they get into those flour things.
Fruit queef.
Someone said LaCroix tastes like TV static.
Apparently, we just don't get the Daily Motor
No, that's
logo.
fine.
Yeah,
no, that's okay.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, William. I'll have to like invite him out for like a end of the year celebration.
I don't know where he lives. California, something.
Be willing to hike out. Well, he owns a Mazda Speed 3. I feel like that's a very Midwestern car. Oh, it's just a Mazda 3.
I think it's Mazda 3. Maybe it's a Speed 3. I don't think it's a Speed 3 though.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 32 of the Daily Motor Podcast. Fun fact, in the title of episode 31, I accidentally had 301 for the last week, and no one even mentioned
301. You gonna leave it like that?
No, I changed it back.
Okay.
I'm just disappointed that no one
noticed.
No one noticed. But somehow we gained one subscriber from last podcast. Like on
wow,
YouTube. So someone actually found the podcast.
Listened thought, I want to listen to them more.
Yeah, so
That's
William,
cool.
I think you have someone else listening along with you
Got some
now.
competition. Just know you're not alone.
Actually, let me show you something else too. This is quite interesting. Also, Daily Motor logo.
Oh, good.
The sexy splash screen. Let's.
I don't have.
You still don't have that?
I don't have that.
Why not?
Because you won't give it to me. You told me no. You said it's only for my videos, Chris. You're not allowed to have it.
Only my videos are allowed to be sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Our internet is going absolute. What's a very slow car? They say CHR speed right now. Or HRV speed, I should say.
23 HRV.
Yeah. Quick side note. I guess we can bring this back up for now. I thought I was going to drive the new Honda CR-V this week. Just see it.
What?
I'm going to see the new CR-V down in Nashville.
Oh, you're going with Chris and Tom?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. But yeah, I actually don't know if I can't remember when I found out about this, but they had one extra spot and Lynn asked if I wanted to go because I kind of like in passing was just kind of like, if you have any extra space,
last
it'd be cool
week
to
when
go.
you were in Type R.
Yeah, and she was like, I mean, there's one more spot. She like emailed me recently, and so I am going. But I thought it would be to at least drive the car. But no. You see, Honda must have a big budget right now because they're having a lot of these events where you just see the car.
Are you driving anything this week there?
Maybe. There's a race that I can watch.
I know.
It's a 5-day event.
I know.
And none of us are going to stay for the whole 5 days. I don't think Tedward might. I don't know.
Well, how many days are you staying?
2.
What
Friday.
day?
I'm flying in Thursday, leaving Saturday.
Okay.
Near the end of the day Saturday, to be fair. So I'm going to go to the first day of the race. I'm just not going Sunday.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I'm sure if I were single, like, I still would. But
Chris will go for 24 hours.
yeah, Chris will spend 12 hours driving down.
2 hours at the event.
Because he'll want a hypermile.
Yeah.
In the Civic.
Yeah.
And then he'll spend 2 hours at the event, see the car, and then
drive back.
I am surprised he's even going though, because again, we're not driving the car, I don't think.
No. You're not driving anything.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So if you're the topher,
Daily Motor top tip. What's the tip?
I don't know, but I like that you knew where I was going.
Don't.
Yeah. He's probably going to get like 45 mpg or something.
And he'll get to talk to Tedward about it because Tedward also has a Civic Si. I wonder if Tedward's driving. That'd be cute if they both drove Civic Si's out to the Honda event.
They could draft each other.
Yeah, welcome everyone. This is going to be an exciting episode because we've driven a ton of cars.
Episode 302 of the Daily Motor Podcast. I can't believe we've been doing this for 302 episodes.
That's like 5 years.
I know. Yeah, I've known Charlie for 5 years, you know.
You've had that LA Dodgers hat for 5.5 years.
Yeah, you can see, look how sun faded it's getting. That's like a legit claim.
Yeah. From 1947, apparently.
It is,
I assume that's what it means. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a popular podcast that I like to listen to that just hit episode 666 last week.
That's cursed.
Yeah, so they did it all spooky.
Are we going to go from episode 665 to 667?
No, we'll definitely have a spooky episode.
Okay, good.
We'll find the most cursed cars on
what would
Copart.
Be episode 666 could be like Geo Metro convertible,
Nissan Cross Cab.
Nissan Cross Cab, yeah.
What's a really cursed car?
Nissan Cube. Cube is pretty
Cube.
cursed.
Not just name too many more Nissans.
What is cursed? Yeah, Nissan makes a lot of cursed shit.
I think it should be like, well, there could be your car because someone probably died in your Mercedes. Was shot.
That's a cursed vehicle.
That is.
Let's do the podcast from the interior of that car.
Yeah, it might be running and driving by then.
It runs and drives. It just has holes in it.
Running and driving up to your standards that you would run and drive it.
I had like a cool moment this past week. I was in Chicago visiting some family, and
shout out Cloud Cookie.
Shout out Cloud Cookie at Cloud Cookie Shy CHI on Instagram. Follow them.
You pronounce that shy? It's not
Shy.
Chicago. Chicago.
Yeah, but it's Shy.
Chai.
Yeah, Chai. Anyways, though, I was flipping through like an old photo album in the house, and in that photo album there was a picture of Tori as a little kid getting into the back of a W126 S-Class when it was new.
Wow.
Same color as mine too, black with the gray trim.
Not in the same interior though, right? Your interior.
We couldn't
is rare.
see. The picture was like from pretty far away.
Okay.
In fact, I have the picture.
I believe
care
it.
if I show it. You can't see any faces in it or anything. But
yeah.
I took a picture out of the photo album.
That's cute.
Yeah, so here's the picture. You can see he's just like a little kid getting into it.
Adorable.
Yeah.
See that, William? Cute. Does look just like yours.
He told me that their driver as a kid totaled that car. So we know that it's not the same car as mine because it got totaled.
Right. Fair enough. Okay. I was doing the review earlier. Also, yes, you can see how slow our internet is right now. This is an actively loading web page.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but 1-800-Hansons must allegedly be using a lot of internet right now.
They're doing a lot of Hansonsing. What do they do? Is it Windows?
They scam you into doing home repairs. They come by your house and they say, "Looks like shit. You should do something about it." And then you go, "But I have no money." And they said, "Well, we can fix that.
Yeah.
Give you money, take it, do the thing."
Okay.
Yep. I was doing the day drive earlier today in the 3 Series, and I saw a W221. That's like the early 2000s, right?
Like Michael's?
Oh, no, sorry, W220.
Okay.
Yep, W220. And there was, how do I say this politically correctly?
Oh, God.
An individual who was trying to come off as masculine from the streets.
I think you call that a big baller.
He may have been a big baller.
Big baller.
Yes, or balla, maybe. No, Balla, that sort of deal. And I just have to say, your car was found in Flint, Michigan, and shot up. One could safely assume driven also by a big balla. And
perhaps.
That's more of a big balla type car.
It really is.
The W220.
It's really not.
It's really not.
No, I think
it looks soft and like cute. And
that ended at W140, which is the gen before mine.
I don't know, because the W221 is kind of cool. It's kind of tough looking again.
That's true.
It's sharper headlights.
That's true.
It's the roundness of the W220's lights.
To me, the W220 just looks like a big C class.
Mm-hmm. I see what you mean.
It's very like 2000s era though. Like it's very soft.
Yeah, I like it. I very much like it. I just don't think it looks tough.
No.
So I wouldn't want to be like
stock or
a gangster rapper.
Did it have some modifications?
It actually didn't have modifications. It was a remarkably clean S500.
Oh, okay. Was it black?
Yes.
Did it have what just stock wheels, like silver wheels? I think I've seen that
around here.
Going around, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like remarkably clean if it's the one that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. No, I was like, wow, that's a nice W220. And well, actually, I didn't think that. I said I thought that's a remarkably clean. I can never remember if it's a W220 or W221. Chris will get angry at me when I say it the wrong way. That was the thought process. I filmed so many winding road videos now that I can zone out while I'm shooting them.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes I'm like, all right, do I need to do anything
thoughts.
here?
When I'm filming winding road videos, I think my eyes glaze over. Sometimes I'll blink and the drive is over and I'm like, oh, I got to wrap this drive.
Yep. 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 I don't think I'm ever going to be able to show you the thing that I wanted to show you. We might not be able to view anything on the internet today.
What is it?
But I can at least tell you, we had a remarkable amount of people listen to the podcast last week, like 50 in one day.
Wow.
Like not from
Thanks,
the channel.
everyone.
And our highest day before on the podcasting, like on Apple Podcast or anything, has been like 16. And it like a huge spike. So we must have gotten promoted somewhere.
Getting closer to having assistants, Charlie.
Yeah, we will. You know, we had one, and then he found better things to do, I guess. Rest in peace, Nathan.
People are going to think he actually died.
Well,
We did repossess all of his items that he left at the garage.
yeah, like the pens and
The pens.
and there was a bag of something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
They're now gone.
Mm-hmm.
But we drove a lot of fun stuff. Let's start off with another one of your cars. You purchased a 1999 BMW M Roadster.
Roadster.
Roadster. Some people might know it as a Z3, but you're incorrect. It's not a
it's
Z3.
wrong.
It's an M Roadster.
I would show you the title, but I don't want to dox my information. But
Fair
on
enough.
the title, it says BMW M.
Does it really?
Yeah,
It's
just
called
Model M.
Model
Yeah,
M.
on the title.
It's like a Tesla.
Model M.
M.
Yeah, it's
cool.
It's a cool little car. Definitely the cheapest M Roadster on the planet. And
Maybe
it shows,
cheapest clean title. Like
cheapest clean title M Roadster on the planet, and it shows.
It's really not that bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris has driven it for about half an hour.
Yeah, I know. I don't have much.
I've
time
driven
in
it for
Charlie's put like
7 hours
600
or so.
miles on it.
I was driving. Well, we'll get to that. But driving one way and then coming back to the shop in order to have it fixed properly.
Yeah, right. So it's very like mechanically sound, but cosmetically it's a little tired. You can definitely tell that it's been parked outside probably its whole life. A lot of the interior materials are a little crispy.
And apparently that generation BMW interior.
Oh,
doesn't
they're
hold up very
terrible
well in general.
Yeah,
E36.
The E36. Fun fact: the body code on that car is also E36.
So you have an E36.
I do have an E36M. Yep, I do. But yeah, the interiors in those cars are just like notorious for falling apart and just being really shittily put together. And it doesn't help that the car has been parked outside, and you can tell like a lot of the stuff has just like been baking in the sun, and the paint on the trunk is a little faded. Otherwise, though, like it's okay.
The nice thing is, though, at least about the interior, the parts that are intact still feel nice and work decently well.
Yeah. Okay.
Radio, steering wheel still feels good.
Yeah, the steering wheel is actually in nice shape. It just needs to be cleaned.
I think the most destructive element of that car is the fact that a previous owner decided to disable the power top and turn it into a manual. But that doesn't mean that it just easily goes up and down like a Miata. It still has power top elements that you have to force closed.
Yeah.
And that's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
It's a time and effort intensive task. And
You're like James May trying to put the top up on the Boxster Spider while they're spraying him with a fire hose type thing.
Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And it was raining quite hard on me fortunately the rain sort of boosted my adrenaline and got me to
Can't believe you got my interior wet.
Yeah. Well, I haven't told you this yet.
Oh, God.
But when I looked at the radar and at Apple Weather, it said it was just going to be like a quick bit of rain, like move right across.
Drive through it, go 100.
Exactly. That was my thought process. Two big issues with that. One,
Chicago.
I had to do Chicago traffic because of the aforementioned returning to the shop again, getting it fixed, and then continuing on. So there was that. And then also it downpoured. It was such a hard rain, like wipers on full. So at first I was driving along and it wasn't getting wet inside. It was a moderate rain. I was like, this will be fine. Then we both slowed down and the rain picked up and it just dumped in your inside. So I pulled off in Joliet and on the side of the highway, put the top up. But I did run the AC for the next few hours and wiped everything down with my shirt and dried it for the most part. But I figured the interior had probably wasn't the first time it'd been rained on.
Really not. That interior is something.
Yeah. But it is a very nice car, and it's fun to drive. It has the Dynan Stage 1 package, so we have a little bit of a tune.
Intake, exhaust.
Intake. It sounds great. About 260 horsepower, great power figure for that weight of a car. I'd look up the weight specs, but
it's
no internet.
2,900 pounds.
2,900 pounds. I don't think you can buy a new sports car that's under 2,900 pounds. Maybe a Miata.
Yeah.
And Miata's quite a bit slower. Yeah. This
also we just did a weight reduction too, so it's probably 2,800 now.
You're right. There was a speaker that was in the car but not plugged in.
Yeah. So
why bother keeping that in?
Yeah. Don't need that.
So much weight.
Yeah.
No, it's a cool car. I think you'll have some fun driving around and then fun selling it because you'll never drive it because you own a Cayman S.
Mm-hmm.
So why
Which I also don't drive.
Then again, the Cayman S is not a convertible. So there might be times
I don't own
that
a convertible.
Well, now you do.
Oh,
and and now you can drive it.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite nice. It was a good little car. So I think a little bit of love here and there, some cleaning, some tasteful interior improvements, and then the exterior improvements, a few mechanical things, and you'll have a $15,000-$20,000 M Roadster on your hands. Roadster.
Yeah, I just one with a rebuilt title just got posted the other day for like 16 grand. I mean, it was really nice looking, but still, I mean, it's rebuilt title.
Yeah.
Similar miles to mine, but it cosmetically, it looked really nice. But the title brand kind of kills it for a lot of people.
And now, thanks to Kauth and Mayer in Peoria, Illinois, it has a new clutch.
It does.
New belts.
Yeah.
The once over, it's a good car.
Yeah, we got some maintenance done on it. I just figured while it was there, we did a clutch, we did belts, we did some sort of thing to make the fan work. I don't know.
Regulator, resistor,
something.
AC.
I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. They fixed it up.
New BMW badges, new tires. We did a bunch of stuff to it. So
yeah, it's a good running car.
Yep.
Fun fact about Peoria that I learned after we got back: it's considered to be like a political litmus test around the country. Like it's supposed to be like the quintessential middle ground of America.
Peoria?
Yeah, apparently it's very balanced between right wing, left wing. So if there's a phrase apparently how does it read in Peoria, and that's it's supposed to be if just a very general extraction of the populace.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Kind of fun fact. Seems like a neat area. Lots of cornfields, but also some decent driving roads nearby.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We found some good driving roads. So you want to talk about?
Yeah. Let's move on to the next. Let's go through our day. So we took the 330i.
Yes.
Out to Peoria. Let's just talk about that car now. Good car. We got over 40 miles per gallon
43.
in all highway driving with that car. And we were comfortable. Seats were a little firm.
Yeah.
And not a ton of space for catch-up packets, so we had to scatter them around the car.
Yeah, they flew everywhere.
But other than that, we enjoyed driving it.
It's just normal 3 Series stuff, Seats have never really been comfortable in 3 Series. That's why they get you into a 5 Series that way.
I didn't get a chance to review the sound system because of time.
I would give it a B.
Yeah, and it was the hi-fi system, so not even the Harman Kardon.
Yeah, the hi-fi is the mid-grade sound system. Or I guess at this point, it's probably the base. Back in the day, hi-fi used to be a mid-grade because you'd get tweeters and stuff, but now it's probably just standard.
In Europe, you may be able to get one lower than this.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes you can
hi-fi
get
is supposed to be you get tweeters and it's a little bit higher quality.
Higher fidelity, technically.
Huh?
Hi-fi, high fidelity.
Yeah. So I would give it a B just because it was pretty clear, but it didn't get very loud, and you were lacking that power.
Yeah.
It was pretty crisp, but there was no power behind
the move.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
So that's why I would give it a B or B minus.
Okay. Anything else about the car? I mean, it's nice.
Unbelievably refined in the powertrain department. I mean, we've said it a million times how much we love that 4-cylinder. I think it's N20. I don't know. I don't want to be wrong, but whatever the newest 4-cylinder turbo from BMW, it's phenomenal. All of BMW's powertrains right now are just really, really great. It'll just be the main test of these powertrains will be how are they in 10 years? Because that's usually the struggle with BMWs. The N54, you want to make a lot of power, great. However, if you want to use it as a daily driver, not necessarily the best thing.
And it's a shame because that wasn't always the case. Pretty much up until before E90s, powertrains were bulletproof. I mean, look, you own 2 high mileage old BMWs.
Well, those powertrains are great, but then when Chris Bangle came in, and not that he had anything to do with mechanical,
zero to do with him.
His era of cars, you had the horrid V8 that was in the E65 that you love. You had the N52 is actually pretty good.
N52 is pretty good.
N52 is good. However, N54 not great.
How about the V8 that went in the E90?
No rod bearings.
Yep.
Also the V10 terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And the SMG transmission.
SMG was bad.
It's a shame because I just love that generation of BMWs.
I love
so much,
them too, but I also don't love
terrible.
them because I'm like traumatized from that E90 that I had. It was so terrible.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to
me. It was so bad. I have no love for that gen of BMW. That's why I buy these shitty old ones because they're better. Yeah, they're better.
Yeah. No, I think there are plenty of people who would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But this new 3 Series was great.
Yeah.
Very quiet. If you turn
Beautiful
it in Eco Pro mode.
I love the way it looks too.
It does look good. If you turn it in Eco Pro mode, it turns off the artificial noise inside and
whisper quiet. You could tell some non-car person that it's an EV and they totally believe you. Oh wow. Yeah.
It actually has launch control, which you taught me today.
It's quick.
It yanks you
like
off
0 to
builds
30.
A ton of boost.
Yeah.
And just pow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So 330i, good car.
Good car.
And this one had the M handling package, and I got that thing squirrely on the winding road drive.
Did you? Good.
Yeah, that was nice.
Good.
Yep. So we drove that out to Peoria, and then got ourselves into a Porsche Taycan.
For the first time ever.
Technically, we drove the M Roadster first, but we already talked about that.
Yeah.
First Porsche Taycan ever, and all Porsches are good cars.
Yeah. The thing that stuck out to me most about that car is that it felt more like a Porsche than it did an EV. Obviously, it's an EV, so it feels like an EV. But my initial impressions were I'm driving a Porsche, not I'm driving an electric vehicle.
Yes.
Whereas when you get in most other electric vehicles, it's like, okay, I'm in an EV, whatever.
They're trying to make it all like neat and like, ooh,
yeah,
like future, like,
Porsche, you can tell they're still very focused on driving experience, but also just like overall like ambiance and feel of materials and just like other normal things that you notice in Porsches. Whereas like Mustang Mach-E, for instance, right? It doesn't feel like a Ford inside.
Or like a Mustang.
Or like a Mustang. Like, when you get in the Porsche Taycan and it still feels like a Porsche. So I can appreciate that.
You could probably be put in a Porsche Taycan blindfolded and still realize you're in a Porsche. Like, just feel everything.
Totally. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Whereas if you got blindfolded into a Mach-E, you'd be like, I'm in something nice.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh, I'm in a Ford.
Oh, it's a Ford.
Yeah. This is nearly loaded. Look at this. Look at this spike in the traffic.
Big spike. 54
downloads. And then, back to essentially nothing. But a lot of people listened to the podcast last week.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know where it was from. I think if I really dug in, we could see which listening app. I think it was this Pocket Casts. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Because I never remember seeing it before. Apple Podcasts has always been our top percentage. But Pocket Casts. So if you're listening on Pocket Casts, welcome to the Daily Motor Podcast. And thank
Daily Motor top tip. Download Pocket Casts.
Yeah, there you go. The Daily Motor Podcast brought to you by Pocket Casts.
And LaCroix.
And LaCroix and All Brand Cereal.
And All Brand Cereal.
So many sponsors. They really ought to start paying us. Yeah, the Taycan was cool. This was a base motor, rear-wheel drive, extended range. Whatever the proper Porsche terminology is for all that crap.
No idea on power figure.
No.
It felt pretty quick, though.
Felt fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun. Fun to whip it
Hustled
around.
It. A lot of screens.
Yeah. We went... How fast did you allegedly go? You went pretty quick in that thing.
I think in kilometers per hour, it was well over 100.
Okay.
Yep. On a close course.
Yeah.
With a professional driver.
With the Stig driving. But yeah.
Porsche
Taycan.
I'd happily own it.
Yeah.
The problem is how much does the Porsche Taycan start at?
I don't think it's very much. It's like $80K.
Would you have an i4?
Well, I'd rather have a Taycan.
But at those prices, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, the Taycan's beautiful and the i4 isn't. So the i4 is beautiful if you get rid of from the front fenders forward.
Yeah.
The back of it, I think, is nice. The interior is nice.
Starts at $87,000.
They raised the price on that.
Mm-hmm. Everything has had the price raised. Speaking of i4s, did you see that they're now catching on fire? And iXs.
Are we surprised?
BMW has actually instructed owners to park them outside and not drive them.
Why do electric cars keep catching on fire? Why is this happening?
I think there's just a lot of energy in there, and people are manufacturers. If I had to guess, it's kind of similar to Dieselgate with the Volkswagens. engineers are being asked to push the envelope so much to compete with competitors, and they're having to do like maybe go past a few protocols in terms of safety. And it's such a new technology that their CEOs are saying, like, you need to get this out yesterday. And they're like, okay, fine, here you go. And then without any proper, like, not enough proper testing, clearly. And then it's like, well, okay, happens. The only person who doesn't have an excuse is Chevy with the Bolts, because those have been around since 2017. And they had Volts before that since 2011. So
we should invest in other sustainable ways to have cars.
I like EVs, though.
I do too, but not if they catch on fire and burn my house down.
Gas cars catch on fire too.
Not when they're just sitting in the garage. They don't catch on fire.
That is true.
They catch on fire when they're driving, which is fine because you're outside. I mean, it's not fine to catch on fire, but it's
Daily Motor top tip: if your car catches on fire, it's okay.
Yeah.
As long as
I
it's
would
gas.
rather have it catch on fire outside than have it inside, because then you lose. Not only do you lose your car, you also lose your house.
Yeah, that's a good point. At least, yeah.
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 No, you're pretty much right about
Thank
that.
you.
I owned an electric vehicle, and I managed for it not to catch on fire.
Yeah.
So
Teslas don't catch on fire as much. Do they?
remarkable, because they're the ones that are
Neither
like
do Porsches, like the
that we know of yet.
and
They haven't built
Audis.
very many.
True.
Yeah.
They'll start soon. It'll
Yeah.
come out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Porsche Taycan, good car. That was fun. Be nice to spend more time in one.
Which
Then
we probably will someday.
hopefully. Then we drove a Nissan Figaro.
Yeah. So
For those of you who are unfamiliar, I'll bring one up and let Chris start
you'll see
introducing
it in about you'll see it in about 45 minutes when this loads. But the Nissan Figaro is a car that was built only in Japan in 1991. They made about 20,000 of them. They were only supposed to make 8,000 initially, but demand was so high they built an additional 12,000. And well, it's from the 90s, but it looks like it's from the 50s or 60s. Finished in 4 different colors seasonally. So you had a winter, summer, fall, and spring color palette.
The one we drove was winter.
Winter, yeah. So that's the 4 colors right there in that picture. Very just kind of normal pastel colors. You had a green, a blue, a tan, and a gray. But as you can see, a lot of people paint them pink and stuff because they
They're adorable.
think they're adorable. Obviously, right-hand drive, a tiny little 990cc turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 3-speed automatic. The furthest thing from intimidating, I mean, right-hand drive cars I think are scary to some people, but you get in this Nissan Figaro and it's just the easiest thing in the world to drive. And Sean's example has like, I don't know, 50,000 kilometers on it or something, like 30,000 miles, and everything felt tight. And it was a fun little experience. I think you enjoyed it too, didn't you?
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Very carefree, as you said. Adorable, unique, small, not very powerful, but powerful enough to get up to speed. It's not like one of those things that like you got to be like worried in traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, plenty of power to drive around town. I don't know that I'd really want to go on the highway with it.
But it could if you needed to just do a quick stint.
It probably could, yeah. But it was revved at like 4,000 RPM going 55. So I don't know that you'd really want to.
A lot of attention too. People drive by and roll their windows down like, what is that? Very cute.
I got stopped on I was filming a video for the Topher channel, and somebody we were stopped at a red light, and the guy next to me is like, what kind of car is that? And Sean was sitting next to me. He just laughs, and I told him everything. We pull away from the light, and Sean is like, that happens every single time I drive this car. I get people asking me what it is.
Yeah. So, and it's a convertible too,
it's a
which
cool
big
little
fan
conversation piece.
Technically
Yes.
a four-seater.
4-seater hardtop convertible.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is exotic.
Alyssa?
I could. Yeah. Alyssa, we know you're listening.
Yep.
Nissan Figaro.
We're going to get you one of these. They're only about 10 grand imported.
And a little more now. Everything's more. I already looked.
Yeah. Well, thanks to the current state of the economy.
Yeah. I think the main reason I probably wouldn't get one is safety. And I'm not much one to be talking about safety. For myself, I'd be fine with it, but for Alyssa.
That thing would fold in half if you got hit.
Yeah. It's actually just a Nissan Micra.
Yeah. No sort of safety equipment in it at all. It has seatbelts. It has seatbelts. Yeah.
But yeah, the steering wheel doesn't have an airbag, which makes for a very cool to feel steering wheel. And the horn button is fun.
Cool little steering wheel.
Yeah. But very, very neat car. Glad we got a chance to drive it. And I am jealous of people who get to own one. They are fun. You know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit? Not a ton. But there's this new car coming out called a Nobe. It's from an Estonian startup manufacturer. It's all electric. Nothing kind of fun. It's a 3-wheeler.
It's like a Saab.
It does have a little bit of sobness to it, yeah. But also very small. And kind of
technically a motorcycle.
In the state of Michigan, it may be. I don't know, though. I don't know because it has a fixed roof, maybe not.
That's a new car.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's from the 1950s.
That's the point. Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be coming out. Like I said, it's all electric in the next few years. I've actually talked with the CEO about us reviewing one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be really cool. I don't understand what is the purpose of 3-wheelers. I don't quite understand.
Lightness and efficiency.
Why didn't they just give it 4 wheels?
Lightness and efficiency. One less bit of rolling resistance.
This one's sweet. It's like slammed.
One right here.
Someone probably photoshopped it.
Maybe it's jalopnik, so it's very, very likely that they did. But yeah, kind of. They're also coming out with a pickup truck. This loads up.
Oh, and it has 4 wheels?
Yes, and it has 4 wheels.
This is what people in the 50s thought cars would look like in the 2000s.
Yeah, so essentially this guy who started this company probably was just like, I'm going to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be exciting. And that's
look at the little truck.
What the Nissan Figaro makes me think of. Yeah, once that comes into full focus.
I love the truck. The truck is sweet.
Can you imagine putzing around like Ypsilanti and that you'd get so many people would be like, that's awesome. And then you say it's from Estonia and they say, where's Estonia? And then you say, I don't know, but it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think that we should do more things like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think we will get one of these instead of a Nissan Figaro.
Don't go around a corner fast in reverse and you'll be fine.
Maybe because it's electric, they'll be able to keep like a very low center of gravity.
Oh,
and it'll have less issue with that. It's not like a little just motor that's going to flip easily.
At least they put the 3rd wheel in the back instead of in the front.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of brands go wrong is doing it in the back. Or the front, I mean. Yeah. So Nissan Figaro, good car.
Never mind. You know what? I don't even want to.
Good.
Nissan Figaro, good car.
Yeah. Then, after the Nissan Figaro, we piloted a Land Rover Santana.
Yeah, which we need to get details on so we can post that video. But this thing, so the way I understand it is it was built in Spain, or was it just sold in Spain?
No, built in Spain.
It was
entirely
built,
Spanish car. They
sold,
essentially got the specs on how to build it from Land Rover UK.
So it's not actually a Land Rover.
It is a Land Rover, but it isn't at the same time.
So it's a Spanish-made Land Rover.
Yes.
That felt like it was from the 1950s, but it was actually from the late 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, it literally a box of metal with a church pew and a steering wheel. Would you agree with that?
Yes, that sounds pretty accurate.
And a diesel engine with like 60 horsepower.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe more torque than power, that's for sure. Yep.
Seems to be worth about 30 to 40 grand though. It was in pretty good shape.
It was in pretty good shape considering what it is.
It was a clean example.
Yes.
Very strange. We showed up and Sean's like, "Oh, you guys are going to be driving this," and I was just like, "Oh, okay." Charlie had fun with it though.
I had fun.
He had a lot of fun with it.
It was essentially like driving a tractor on the street.
We had a little bit of a clenched moment because we were going out to shoot the Winding Road video, and we got followed by a cop for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, some federales were like, "Is this even?" No, they're fine.
As we have like a dealer plate magneted over the Spanish plate that's still on the back of the car.
Yeah. Now the car will be going up on probably Bring a Trailer, right?
Yes, it'll be up on Bring a Trailer shortly. So if you'd like to buy a 1978 Santana Land Rover thing, take a look at our POV drive. Honestly, like for what it was, it seemed to be pretty dialed in. I mean, I don't know how you'd expect more from a car like that. So.
Right. So here you go. Reading about Spanish government. Santana Motor Company built series Land Rovers under license from CKD. In CKD form, completely knocked down kits. Essentially, parts were shipped over from the Land Rover factory, and then Land Rovers were built up from this kit at the Santana factory in Spain. And then the Spanish factory started producing more and more of the parts. By 1968, 100% of the vehicle components were locally produced. So they kind of just learned how to start making the parts in Spain. Right. Yep. And then from 1968, Santana began to develop its own versions of the Land Rover series models in close relationship. Whoops, did not mean to click anything. Don't go away. Shoot. Oh, no. And yeah, so they kind of just
that one
built
looks like a Geo Tracker. Is that a Santana? Did they also get tooling for the Geo Tracker,
Yes, I believe so, based on the Suzuki Vitara.
which is a Geo Tracker.
Yeah. Or Vitara. So yeah, that was fun. It's just a neat little we drove that. I don't know if I'd give it good car status. It's just
But you wouldn't
car.
give it bad car though.
Because you got to think even for the 70s, that wouldn't have been
It was built in Spain.
Yeah, but it's not like Spain's a third world country.
Yeah, but they didn't build cars there, except that.
Weren't Seats Spanish? Seats?
Oh, maybe they were. They're like General Motors now or something.
No, Volkswagen.
Oh, Volkswagen.
I'm thinking of Opel.
Yeah.
And Vauxhall.
I saw a Seat posted on some Instagram page the other day that was literally a Tiguan with Seat badges on it.
And they listed it as a Seat?
Yes.
Wow. Degens.
It's literally a Tiguan with like a different front bumper and Seat badges.
Yep. So that was an car. Then the next day...
I think that was a lot of fun.
It was fun. No, I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
It was good tractor.
Good tractor. There you go.
The next day, we woke up and got to drive what year? 2000, the Porsche Cayman?
16.
2016 Porsche Cayman GT4. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
Very great car in terms of sound, power, looks, feel.
That's Sean's personal car.
Yep. Thank you, Sean, for letting us rip that, as well as your Figaro.
He's owned it for a few years.
Fun fact, we drove the Figaro and the GT4 down the same road, and both were equally enjoyable in very different ways.
Yeah, the Figaro just squealed tires going 25, and
it was so relaxing.
And I just
kind of just sat in peace and quiet, and we're like, this is nice. And then the Cayman,
dude,
flogged.
I love that GT4.
Yeah,
the 981 GT4 is just it's such a dialed in, just very like sweet spot of Porsche.
Right, almost as good as your M Roadster.
Oh, really? You really like that thing?
I like the carefree attitude of the M Roadster. It's happy at any rev from like 900 all the way up to 6,500.
Yep.
There's no bad point in the power band, and maybe the tune helps that a lot. It just kind of broadens the power band and everything. But no, the GT4 was great. I can see why everyone loves them. I'm like debating on like whether it'd be worth daily driving one.
Oh, probably not.
I mean, Sean seems to like to do it.
Not
that he dailies it, but he probably did at some point, right?
Oh, through college? Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and I would park together with my 987 and his GT4. And it was so funny because no one could tell the difference between our cars
and he'd be like, "Arr."
I know, it was great for me because people were like, oh, you and Sean have the same car? And I'd just be like, yeah. And one day someone approached Sean and they said, hey, did you know that there's another GT4 on campus? Talking about my car. And Sean just kind of was like, oh, whatever. But yeah, I mean,
that's pretty funny.
I just thought that was funny.
No, I think as cool as the GT4 is, I think I'd rather have your car. I haven't driven your car, but it's just it's just like you joke that you don't like to drive your Cayman because it's appreciating and it's like worth a lot. You don't want anything to happen to it, but like you really could. Yours is like compared to a GT4. I mean, you'd be fine driving your car. Yeah. Whereas a GT4, I'd be like,
Well, the GT4 is like a 6-figure car now.
Yeah.
It wasn't when Sean bought it, but it is now. Yeah.
Do you think you could make a educated guess and or tell us how much he paid?
I don't know how much he paid. Probably like 90.
Really? Even back then?
Yeah.
Because it was only a few years old.
It had no miles on it when he bought it either.
Okay.
I think it was CPO'd also.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's still CPO. I think it's like a 6-year CPO. Oh, which means it would have run out this year, 2016.
6 years from new.
6 years from new. Yeah.
Okay.
So probably ran out this year. Sorry, Sean, your warranty ran out.
But yes, Cayman GT4.
Now it's probably like
great car.
A little over 100 grand, 105 maybe.
Right. Yeah, good car unless you like door handles, in which case.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't have door handles.
Luck.
It's got pieces of fabric inside.
Yep, you have to pull.
My uncle, I've told you about. My uncle has a 987 Cayman S.
Okay.
And it's the reason that one of the reasons that I got.
He still has the Cayman S?
He does. He bought it. It's an 08. He bought it in 09. He bought it with like 800 miles on it. It was a year old.
Mm-hmm.
Still owns it. And the reason he still owns it is because in like 2012, 2013, he really, really wanted a Cayman R, but he didn't get a Cayman R because the door handles were fabric.
And that was the
he's like, I'm not buying a Porsche and driving around in a Porsche to have a piece of fabric as my door handles.
Do you think
so he kept his Cayman S?
And he regrets that at this point?
I don't think he knows. I mean, okay. I don't really think I'd call him a car guy.
Mm-hmm.
He appreciates cars. He's had a lot of Porsches. And he appreciates driving, like his Porsche's a manual and everything. He loves driving. But I don't think he is scouring, bring a trailer and looking at, oh, look how much this car is worth. And, look how much a Cayman R would have been. It was just one of those things where he just kind of drives it for leisure, and he goes out and flies down the highway and shit, and he just thought a Cayman R would be cool because it was just the newest thing. But
that's fair.
Now he's got his sights set on a Taycan because he lives in California now, and
gas do be expensive out there.
Yeah, we were considering putting his Cayman on Bring a Trailer, but every time it comes down to it, I did a whole photo set of it for Bring a Trailer, and it came down to it, and he was like, I can't sell it. He's like, I love it too much, and he'll go through phases of wanting to sell it, but he's owned it basically since new. It didn't even have 1,000 miles on it when he bought it. So
it's a car worth keeping, which obviously don't have to tell you, but there will just never be another car like that.
No. And I think he understands that at this point, just with the way that the car market's going, which is why he's held on to it. But it's got even less miles than mine. I think it's only got about 20,000 miles on it right now. It's cool. It's just gray with black interior, but it has sport seats, which I'm jealous of. It's got the really cool, hard back, real bolstered sport seats.
Cool. Which is interesting because you'd think for leisure driving, you'd actually not want that.
I don't think he knows that it has sports seats. He just gets in his car and drives it.
Daily Motor top tip for Chris's uncle.
Yeah.
Your car has sports seats.
It has sports seats. I told him last time I was there, and he just was kind of like, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're seats. They work.
I was like, my car's got different seats than yours. Your seats are better. And he liked that I told him his seats were better, obviously.
But but your seats are tan.
My seats are natural brown, actually.
Natural brown, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Big difference from sand beige. We don't like sand beige.
Yeah. Yeah, we need a sign up in the office that says, we don't like sand beige.
Sand beige with a big cross through it.
Not allowed.
Only natural brown.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I drove home.
Yeah, so how was your drive home? We haven't really talked much about it other than that your alleged speeds that you hit because you thought you were on the Autobahn.
I swapped into the Z3. Sorry, the M Roadster.
The M Roadster.
And departed and was having a nice time with the top down, nice weather. And then I was coming into a town about 20 minutes away from Cowth Mayor. And when you drive a car that maybe the rotors are a little rusty or the calipers, it's just there's a little bit of rub. Yep, you go by maybe a curb and you can hear it echo off a little bit more. So you're coming through a town or whatever and you hear that shh. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe the brakes are just kind of a little noisy. And so I pressed on the brakes and it didn't go away. Kept sort of I was like, all right, there's definitely an noise. And I was like, is it coming from the truck in front of me? And then finally the truck turned. I was like, no, it's definitely from my car. So I pulled off and realized that there was some sort of rubbing noise coming from the engine and that it varied with engine speed and load.
Yeah.
And got even worse with the clutch engage. So I was like, oh no. And a new clutch had just been installed. So I was like, maybe something didn't get tightened properly. All these different things. So I ended up having to come back, and they determined that the only issue was that there were two belts, serpentine belts offered for that car in that model year, and one was 8 millimeters different in width than the proper one, and the tech had accidentally put the 8 millimeter larger one. It wasn't an issue until everything got fully warmed up, and the belt was just barely rubbing somewhere in the engine there. So not a big deal. Swapped it out.
Got it sorted.
Charlie
so graciously spent an extra hour of his day.
Yeah, a few hours by the time I got back and ate a sandwich and got back in, kept going.
Oh, Sean gave you a sandwich.
He did, nice. Which is silly because he really didn't need to do that. I
was polite,
I had full, I guess.
Yeah,
but
was it a good sandwich?
It was good. It was good. And admittedly, it made me eat healthier than I would have. But I was just planning on swinging through Taco Bell.
Yeah.
So it's not like it would have taken me.
But you saved a couple bucks.
It did save a couple bucks. You're right. And it also would have been a business expense for me. But either way, thank you, Sean, for giving me up lunch. It also probably helped him with his diet because he's trying to lose some weight. So by just giving me his lunch, less calories coming in.
Jeez.
I don't know. I'm just trying.
Emily would cringe hearing that.
Be positive.
She hates hearing people when people don't eat.
Well, Emily, you don't quite have the issue that Sean does of just having a few extra of those pounds.
Yeah.
If Emily were not to eat, she'd fly out of the seat of the M Roadster because
float.
Yeah,
gravity'd get her.
Yeah, it'll get her. And I drove the rest of the way home. It I was mostly stuck behind cars and all the fun roads, but I did get to ring it out a little bit. And then once I got to the open fields, that's where I started opening it up.
Okay.
And that was what kind of surprised me about that car is you get in like something from the 90s or whatever, and you just don't expect it to just be happy to sit at higher speeds.
Yeah.
And this M Roadster, I mean, we're talking like well over the speed limit, was happy to just be there and cruise along. So I put my Bluetooth headphones in with noise canceling and just zoomed along.
Sweet.
Yep. Even in stop and go traffic, the clutch wasn't too heavy. Once you get used to the bite point, it's good. I had a nice drive back. I did stop at a fast food establishment and locked the car, went in. When I came back walking up to the car, the alarm went off both times. So that's a thing. But no, it was a nice drive back, and drove like a total tool once I got into Washtenaw County because I was just ready to be home.
Were you screeching your tires?
I wasn't screeching the tires, but I was doing fast speeds on I-94.
Like a tool. You have to do that in an M car.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's just driving as a proper M driver.
It's just driving an M car.
Yeah, didn't use my signals or anything because I know
good.
Those might have been worn out. But yeah, good car.
Okay, glad.
Then the other car we had this week, really taking up most of the podcast with cars, which is good considering this is a car podcast.
It's a car podcast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not a LaCroix podcast.
Should be a LaCroix podcast.
Should be.
I love
That'll be our second one. Just LaCroix tasting. Get sponsored. Was the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, which we both spent very little time in. And I got it stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then recovered it
yeah.
using our Ford Maverick.
Yeah.
So if you get your Toyota Tacoma stuck, call a Ford Maverick. They'll pull you out.
Or order a Ford Maverick. Leave your Tacoma stuck for a couple of years and you'll be able to get it out.
Yeah, you might get your Maverick by 2024.
Yeah.
And then by extension, also
Maverick
Tacoma.
News. Maverick News.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw, didn't you?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Yes, it was announced today.
Today? Oh.
Pull it up.
Okay.
I hope you know which Maverick I'm talking about.
Yes, I think I do. We are over here. The Maverick, are they calling it the Tremor? Yes. Ford Maverick Tremor. I haven't looked at anything about it, so let's see.
And I saw it this morning, and I didn't send it to you on purpose because I wanted a raw reaction here on
Maverick Tremor Embiggens. Okay, Tim Stevens,
That's
Ford's
cool
smallest truck. Look at that. Look at those lights.
It looks like Hollyoaks.
Lifting the Maverick, giving it some better off-road chops. Starts with uprated springs and shocks, lifted up by a full inch. Half shafts are bigger to handle any unexpected torque applications.
Trans cooler.
Upgraded rear diff. A dual clutch locking unit.
Control system.
New drive modes, because we know how important those are. Ford logos, orange highlights.
This is the important part. Tremor appearance pack.
Yes.
Paints the roof and mirror caps in carbonized gray. And it gives you stickers.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you can get the Tremor off-road package in XLT or Lariat trims. But if you want the 2-liter EcoBoost... Oh, only if you want... Yeah, you can't get the hybrid. That makes sense, because the hybrid's front-wheel drive only. Cool.
Pretty sweet looking.
It is sweet looking. It's a little less interesting than I kind of expected it to be, I guess. But, I'm kind of insulted that Ford didn't send me that news first, knowing that I am a Maverick owner and
gotten
enthusiast.
them a lot of views.
Yes, we really have. Let's go to some photos here.
It's painful how slow this is going.
I gotta admit, we shot our update video on the Maverick last night. Alyssa and I did. I really like that truck.
Huh?
I really like it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect.
That's proper looking.
Right. That does.
It.
Yep.
A little orange spoke on the wheels.
I could probably just build a Tremor Maverick of my own right now. Paint the headlights a little dark. Throw some orange accents on there with a rattle can or some wrap.
With a rattle can. Okay.
And we could break the internet by saying we have a Ford Maverick Tremor.
Yeah.
And yeah. Either way, I like it. The fact that it's done so many cool things, I've really been happy. More happy than I expected to be. Because we kind of just bought the Maverick as this will be a good thing for views, and it's a car. But I think I might keep it for longer than I was initially expecting. Okay. The only thing I want to do is swap that steering wheel. Get the leather steering wheel. Still
I would
do that.
I'd get sick of that steering wheel pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to help you. I got a leather steering wheel off an Escape, but you
Chose not to.
Well, no, I mean, it wouldn't have worked. You would have had to swap all your electronics onto it, which
Yeah.
might as well just get a leather wheel off a Maverick, which I'll probably come across one of those eventually.
But I think I'd still have to swap electronics, wouldn't I? Because
Because the leather one would probably have like different buttons.
Yeah. I'm sure someone will figure out a pretty easy way to do it, or I'll just get a steering wheel cover because I know you love those. Yeah. Yeah.
Summer lineup. You've got Maverick, Ranger, F-150, and F-250.
Does that look like it was shot at Hollyoaks?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I'll have to reach out to Ford and try to get an invite to drive this or something since, again, Maverick enthusiast.
I can put a word in for you.
You do have connections. Yeah. Maverick, good car. Maverick Tremor should be cool. Speaking of the slow internet, I had a little surprise for us for this podcast, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it because of the internet. I was going to show you a little preview of the DM Rally video, and we were going to watch some of it.
Can we please?
Can
we hotspot it from my phone?
It's like 3 gigabytes to download. That would take like a while. So maybe I'll try to download.
Can we just try? Is it download? It's not downloaded?
No, it's not. I was going to download it like this morning, and then the internet was being poop. So maybe next time, maybe next podcast, we can give you a little preview. But it is really cool. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I saw the little snippet that you sent, and I got so freaking excited.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. They so just from that little section, it was like to give some context, it was just kind of when we were like pulling away from our initial meetup, and just the song they had and the cuts, it kind of like gave me hope that this video is actually gonna be really cool. So I'm excited.
It's an entire Top Gear ripoff, and I'm totally fine with it.
I know, I love it. Well, that's the best part. It has to be a Top Gear Grand Tour ripoff. That's what we were going for. So
yep, we just need to figure out what to call it, and I have a lot of cutting to do because they have gotten through only the first day and the very first part of tomorrow morning, and it's 47 minutes long.
Oh my God!
But I told them to keep it on the long side because they're not going to know like what content to cut necessarily.
47 minutes.
But like the first 17 minutes of the video are just us intro bantering.
Oh, you don't need all that.
Right. We do. Yeah. There's a lot of Nathan complaining about the Lexus build quality, which is an oxymoron.
I understand some of the things that he finds.
And then
he like complains about things that are the opposite of what they actually are.
Yeah.
Like he told me the transmission in the LC500 is garbage.
Right. But
and it's like the best part of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have one too many gears, but other than that,
too many gears. It could just be an 8-speed.
It could be an
but
8-speed.
It doesn't bother me that it's a 10-speed.
No. Yeah. But it's super fun to watch. They still have a lot of work to do also on like the coloring and some audio stuff. But yeah, I was previewing it, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be our little masterpiece.
Excited. Yep. Which means Cheap Car Challenge.
Cheap Car Challenge.
Eventually.
Yes. Hopefully they don't realize that they way undercharged me for this and want like $2,000 to do the next one, because he's putting in a lot of work.
$2,000 I don't think is unreasonable for them to shoot it, because we could just split it.
Okay. So not only do we have to purchase the used cars,
well, we
have to pay.
Hold on a second. What we should do for a Cheap Car Challenge is try and get it sponsored. That's what a lot of people do.
You're right. I should have tried to get this sponsored. I shot one email out to Dan at Off the Record and never followed up with him, and he never responded. Maybe once the product's finished, I'll send it to him. We could just do a splash screen at the beginning, and he can give us some money.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because it's coming together pretty cool.
Yeah, or just use it as a way to be like, hey, here's what we can do. Let's put your brand in the next one. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it helps sometimes to actually have this. It helps to like have something to show them, to be like, we're going to replicate this, except it'll be even better because now we've already done one, and so.
Speaking of that, we need to reach out to Ben Pack this week and look into getting a sponsored lift.
Yes, we do. And I'm going to reach out to Super 73 and try and get us some bikes because I'm obsessed.
Yeah. How fast do those go?
30.
Too slow for me.
What?
Well, because I'm on this kick of wanting to get another Grom/Monkey, and I know, shout out Moran, I don't know if you heard about this actually. Because
I was on the live drive.
Oh, you
got
were on
stolen.
the live drive. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Got stolen. But
you and him both lost your Groms.
I know.
Which is very sad.
Right.
No Groms for you.
Grom market is tough, but I really like the Honda Monkey. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay.
His was stolen by a thief. Yours was stolen by a Chevy Venture.
Yeah, but I'm on the kick of wanting another one, but I'm also like, are there other things
You love
I
that
could get
thing.
instead?
Yeah,
I did.
think you should.
I know.
Well, why don't you try the monkey? Because it'll be like a nice little switch up for you, and it might scratch that itch for you still.
Because there are about 8 of them listed in the entire nation right now.
Even including used ones?
No, not including used ones.
Why don't you
But
get one that's like, probably because they're more expensive than new ones.
yes, partially. Also because 2022 model year, they added the 5th gear and a slight bit of extra power. So I want a 22.
There are no
And
used 22s.
There are
Not
very
the
few
ones
used
that are,
22s.
over MSRP.
Well, even if they weren't, it's just the fact that like, people aren't selling them. They don't sell. It's much easier to get a Grom than a Monkey.
I'm going to manifest for you that you're going to take that slingshot back today, and there's going to be a Honda Monkey in there for you to buy.
I'm saying it right now on record. If I were to show up and they had a Honda Monkey, especially if it's yellow, I will buy it.
All right.
Okay.
Heard it here first, folks. Charlie's buying a Honda Monkey if they have. After you harass them over lying to me about a jet ski.
Yes, and after I harassed them about how awful the slingshot is. Shout out Eric at Polaris if you're listening to this. This is the only reviewing I'm doing of the slingshot on Daily Motor, because if I shot a review on that, it'd be negative press.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, good thing we had Winding Road and Topher.
And yeah, I think the Topher shot 2 videos.
He did.
One with you, and then he probably did a
Yeah,
final.
Yep, he did one with me, and then he did a solo.
I don't know why he liked that thing so much. He's being too positive.
Yeah.
After I talked to him for a little bit, I was like, oh, yeah, you make good points. Then Keone, allegedly, drove it around a little bit, and he said, I don't like that at all. He said that was not enjoyable. And I said, I know.
I kind of thought it was enjoyable.
You said you said you were going to like it a little.
I liked the way that when you shift it, it kind of feels like a race car, because you hear like the whine from the transmission, and you can shift it really
incredibly
fast.
loud transmission.
Good clutch and shifter feel.
Yeah.
And while I don't really like it dynamically, when you're driving in a straight line and you're just banging gears, like it's kind of fun.
So if you're driving it in a straight line, you have enough traction for it to
You usually
pull.
don't have traction though.
And you've gotten it all the way up to its 8,500 RPM red line to get peak power.
Yeah.
You can get a satisfying shift out of that.
Yes.
And you can spend $31,000 for that privilege to do so.
Yep. Or you can buy 2 M Roadsters.
3.
3 M if they're clapped, 3 M Roadsters.
Or 1 Miata Club, brand new with a warranty and a roof and a radio.
That's what kills it, is the fact
Or
that it's comparable price to a brand
a
new Miata.
BRZ for cheaper. And you could put on aftermarket wheels,
BRZ.
brakes,
Yeah.
and have 4 seats
Mhm.
and a trunk.
What else can you get new for 30 grand?
A lot of monkeys. A lot of Honda
A lot of
monkeys.
Honda
Well, actually, you
monkeys.
can't because you can't find them. Yeah. No, you could buy yourself a Honda Talon side by side
You'd probably
and
get
just street convert it.
like a base model Camaro or Mustang also.
Yes. A lot of things you can get more than that side by side. So I'm sorry, I expected to like it. We sat on this podcast and I was like, I got it for 3 weeks so we could drive it all around.
He was properly, we should pull that clip up. He was properly excited for it.
Yeah. And I
Got his
just,
hopes up.
huge disappointment.
I was in the right state of mind of I'm going to hate this thing, and I actually hated it less than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, you're fair. Well,
That's
you can
the way
drive
you
it back to Dearborn then today.
Nope. I'm not driving. That's the thing. When I drove it with no cars around, because driving that thing when you're next to other cars, terrifying.
And it may rain
Terrifying.
on my drive up today, which means I'm going to get wet.
No, you have the sling shade.
That's only for sun.
It doesn't
Water
help you-
still gets in the cabin. Because, tell me this.
Is it not taut enough?
Where's the water going to go once it hits the
Oh,
slingshot?
probably down into you. Probably in front of your face. You know, like one of those water features that...
It doesn't just hit the top and then disappear.
I thought maybe there was some sort of technology where it vaporized when it hit the sling shade.
No, it's just going to go right in front of me. Right onto my lap, essentially.
You have some wet gentleman's area.
Yes. Polaris Slingshot, bad car. Sorry,
It's
Polaris.
not a car. It's a motorcycle.
Bad vehicle. I do think anyone who hasn't ridden motorcycles likes the Slingshot more than anyone who has.
That's a good point, because that would explain why Chris and I kind of like it.
Yeah. Because I've always thought, like, I've never pressured you guys, like, you need to try riding a motorcycle, because I get your reservations, so it's fine. No one should ride a motorcycle unless they're, like, in the mental state of, like, I want to ride a motorcycle. But they designed the Slingshot to be, like, a motorcycle for people who never have driven and are kind of, don't want to for whatever reasons. So for you guys, it's like, oh, this powertrain feels very, like, raw and direct and everything. But Keone and I are used to pulling in a clutch and feeling click, click, click of a sequential transmission, being very connected to the vehicle. And we're like, why? When my bike cost $8,000 new, the Slingshot's 31. In fact, I bet you if I compared them, I'd be able to fit potentially more things, if not just about as many things
in the Stromboni,
in my Stromboni with the 3 cases as I would that Slingshot and 2 people. Because I compared my V-Strom to the Miata, and there were only a few things that I couldn't fit in the Strom.
You should have done a V-Strom Slingshot video.
It would have been negative against the Slingshot. Taking time.
Press is press.
Yeah, that's true. Well, in that case, Polaris, you're welcome. Press. I'd be happy to review an Indian FTR. Or, in fact, Polaris, Eric, you can go on my channel and see a very positive review on the Polaris. Your names are too long. Switchback Assault from 2020 that I reviewed and did wheelies.
I want us to get another Slingshot, but I want it to be the fast one.
Yes, I want it to be the fast one, and I want it to be the one with not a lot of transmission whine.
So the automatic, probably.
Probably not, because it's like a semi-automatic.
You have to shift it still?
No, not that way. It's like I think it's like the F1 transmission or something. It's like a manual transmission that shifts for itself.
Oh, so it's like a 2013 Ford Focus.
I think it's something like that.
Great.
Yeah. But yeah, trash. Slingshot, bad car.
Slingslot.
Slut. Bad.
Bad car.
Do we have any Copart cars? You've been busy gallivanting around Chicago, so I figured you don't have anything for us.
I can check. I don't think I do, but I've had a crazy week.
Yeah.
I just
happy birthday to Emily.
Happy birthday, Emily. My birthday's tomorrow.
And yes, Chris, you have a birthday in
when the podcast goes
11
up,
hours.
It'll be my birthday.
Yes, when you all are listening to this, all of you on Pocket Cast or whatever that was called, send Chris a happy birthday. What are you, the Topher 2? No, you're not the Topher.
That's Chris Amos's.
What are you on Instagram?
Topher.Brower.
Topher.Brower.
Yeah, I have a BMW, but I don't really think it's worth showing.
Okay,
honestly.
especially with our slow internet.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for tuning in. Did you have something to say?
No, I was just going to say I had a crazy week in Chicago, but
you did.
If I talked about that, we'd go for another hour. So
right. So tune in next week to hear... What were we going to talk about next? Oh!
You didn't talk about what cars we're getting.
We've got a Chevy Bolt and a Mazda CX-30.
Okay. See you next week.
Oh, and drive on.
And drive on.